actually, to be honest with you, if I'm doing something like this, background's better anyway, but I'm going to do my book in black just to confuse matters, because I've finally chosen which papers I'm going to make the second one in. And I've chosen Graphic 45 Farmhouse. And the reason I've chosen this is because a lot of people don't like it, and I really, really do. And Mark does. So I'm going to use that for mine. However, this is the book. We're not going to do a great deal today because it's going to take us a while. But what I want to do is teach you something I am really, really proud of. And this took us the whole weekend to figure it out. But as you can see, this book has got proper rounded corners. And I wanted to make a book with rounded corners. Hi, Christy.
Covered.
Hi. Oh, covered rounded corners, yes. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Ellie. But, you know, very specifically rounded corners. And that is not easy to get the cover right, because this is covered, obviously it's got the pattern paper on, but it's covered in exactly the same way as any other book that we make. But it is not the easiest thing in the world to get those round corners, but I know how to do it now. So what I'm gonna do today is make the covers and the rounded corners, and then next week what we'll do is we'll make the hinges, and we'll perhaps have a look at page 1 and then page 2, 3, 4 and so on. So it's going to take us a few weeks again, because we're going to take it slow and do it properly, so it's all good. Hi Mary, hi Karen, hi Louise. Right, so let's get started. What you are going to need tonight is your chipboard covers. Now I've already had Mark cut mine out. And there's been a lot of discussion today as to what you can use instead of chipboard if you haven't got it. Because obviously the chipboard that we've got is 12 inches. Look at my bruise. Yeah. There. How have I done that?
Probably on the door.
Probably on the door, yeah. So it's going to be probably cat, actually. But you cat related. 12 inches by 10 inches, and then this is the spine, which is only 1 inch. It's very narrow. We can put that to one side because I don't think we're going to need that tonight. So normally with chipboard that I use is about it's A4, so it's not quite the 12 inches. There's actually only going to be 1/4 of an inch in it, so if you want to make this book that's going to be 1/4 of an inch shorter, I think that'll be just fine if you've only got A4 chipboard. Although it's not going to be 10 inches, is it? No, you're going to have to cut it. Sorry, ignore that bit. Scrap that. It's not going to work with an A4 piece. So anyway, Mark's already very kindly cut these out for me. So what I've got is 12 inches by 10 inches, and I'll need a front and a back cover. Okay? Now, there's all sorts of ways of doing the rounded corner, as Mark has taught me, but I'm going to go with the one that I understood the most, being a bear of very little brain. So I'm going to show you how Mark taught me to get a beautifully rounded corner with a compass. If you don't have a compass, and when I say compass, I mean this sort of compass, not a compass that you look for direction with. This is the sort of thing that you'd use at school. Then you can just draw around, I don't know, something round, like maybe... this is the lid off my clip pot. You could just draw around that. You could actually. But I'm going to show you how to do it with a compass. So, this is what he said to me. We're going to use the base number of 1 inch, because 1 inch is easy to remember, okay? So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to find the point that is an inch in from either corner, okay? So I'm going to measure with my ruler. I'm going to measure 1 inch and just put a little mark there. And then I'm going to measure in 1 inch from the bottom there, so that I can see where that intersects. And I know that that point there, where that crosses, that is 1 inch in and up, okay? Now, if I get my compass and I put my compass point on the end and measure it to 1 inch, so as you can see, that's where my pen goes. If I then put my compass on that mark there and then use that, I will get a perfectly rounded corner. You could just guess, but that's to get it very precise. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again at the top. I'm going to measure in 1 inch from both sides. And where those two marks intersect, that is exactly 1 inch in. So I'm just going to double check my compass is in the right place. Put the point on the middle of the cross and draw my rounded corner. Oh, she says, I've made right pig's ear with that. You get the idea anyway. So that's how I get my rounded corners. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors.
What weight is your chipboard?
This is
it
1.5.
1.5 now?
1.5 mil. So I wouldn't go much thinner, but you could get away with it a little bit thicker, say 2 mil maybe. So now I'm just going to cut where that round bit is, so that I've got my nice round corner on both sides. She says I'd be better off with my bigger scissors. Okay, so I've got my nice rounded corners on both sides there. Actually, that's not particularly rounded because I've just cut that badly. Okay, and I'm going to do that on both pieces of chipboard. So I'm going to measure again 1 inch in. Ooh. There. And 1 inch in here. Measure my inch there. Oh, I keep moving it. You can tell I don't do this often. And then down the bottom there as well. I'm sure Mark is watching this thinking, just let me do it. Just let me do it. Right. He did show me another way, but I didn't really get it and sat there with my mouth open. So I'm not going to do that. Okay. So I'm just going to round those corners there. So I've got these nice round corners on my chipboard now. That's great, isn't it? But the fun bit is I need to cover this. So how did I do it? Well, patience is the key. Not something I'm particularly good at. Now, normally when we make a cover, what we do is we pop a bit of Tyvek on our spine, pop it there, and then put the covers together with the Tyvek like that. We will be doing that in due course. But I found when I made the original that it was far easier. Evening Joan, evening Liz. Hi Donna, hi Karen. I found that it was far easier to put the cover on my big front and back sheets before I actually put the whole thing together with the spine. So that's what I'm going to do. So what you need now is I've used a piece of 12 by 12 paper to cover the front and back of my book at this point. And I have used some wet glue and I have used some double-sided tape. Now, you've got thin double-sided tape, which is usually what, about half an inch or so?
Wide.
But about half an inch wide. But I've also got some tape that I use from time to time that is a lot wider than that. It's nearly 2 inches. And I'm going to use that in one place. If you don't have double-sided tape that is that wide, it is perfectly okay to just make sure that you use the narrow tape and just put it really close together, if that makes sense. So let me just grab it a minute and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Right, so this second book that I'm making, I'm going to make the cover in black card. So here's what I'm going to do. This is my wide cat fur tape. I don't know how that happens. And I'm just going to put that on one side of my 12 by 12 card, okay? If you haven't got the wide stuff, just use the thin, here we go. Just use the thin tape and just put lots of little strips together. But you need quite a wide area, up to about 2 inches. And I found that really, really helped me, okay? So I'm just going to put that to one side. And what I'm going to do now is exactly the same as we do with any book that we put together when we're doing the covers. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape on. Just like this. Have a bit of a gap in between. You can put it as close or as, well, I'll say as far apart as you like. It's good not to have it too far apart, because this is what holds our cover on, and it makes it look smooth if you have it at least, you know, quite close together. So I'm just going to pop those on. Leave a bit of a gap at the not rounded corner side, because we'll deal with that later. Okay. This is going to go all the way to the edge, well, near enough, okay? I'll probably just put one more down there. So I've got about 2 inches really here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the backing on all of these. D, patience isn't a virtue I have a great deal of either. However, it's shut up. It's worth it. Hi, is it VG? Hi VG. Hi Celia. Oh, it was my pleasure. I enjoyed our chat last night. It was good. Hi Beth. Hi Steph. Hi Sarah. Hi Glenda. Right. Put that in the bin.
Something for Martha to chop.
Yeah, Martha likes eating these. I'm quiet for the cats tonight. I don't know where they are.
They were here at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm sure one of them will turn up. Storm probably. Okay, so I've taken all of the backing strips off. Hi Bianca. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take that backing strip off that one as well. Right, and I'm going to lay that down. That's got cat hairs all over it too. Okay, so curved edges. I'm going to turn this over. This is my sticky bit. I'm going to turn that over, Evening Sue, and I am going to pop that onto my paper, my 12 by 12 paper, but I'm making sure that I've got a bit here. This kind of lines up, this sticky bit, with where the curve starts on my board, right? And I've just realised that I've forgotten how I did this. How did I do it? Right. Okay, so that is now attached. Now, you've heard me say before that this is all about training your paper to go where we want it to go. So what we have to do is train the paper to go around these corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slightly round my card. Oh, sticky. Like that. On both sides. Oh, everything's sticking. Okay. And I'm going to get my bone folder. Now, it doesn't matter what size bone folder you have. It really doesn't at this point. Because what we're going to do is we are going to use our bone folder to help this piece of card get into the shape that we need. So the way that I did it was this. I turned over my board and I used my finger to trace the shape of the board, the card around the board. I don't know if this is picking it up at all, but my finger is now helping the paper to go where it needs to go. And I'm going to do that on both corners, okay? So that I've now got a guide of where my card needs to go. And I'm starting to break up the fibres. You want some of that finger lift tape, Jill. The stuff that the backing is wider than the tape, so it makes it really easy to get off. Okay, so now my finger is helping this card go where I want it to go. So you can see here that I've made the shape of that corner in my card. So now I'm going to take my bone folder, and any size bone folder will do, and I am literally just going to keep persuading this card that this is where it wants to go. So I am just moving it backwards and forwards all the way round. I'm just going to get that in order so that you can see here, this card is now starting to understand where it's got to go. Okay, so let's just get that in order, and I'm going to do the same over here. I'm just going to start persuading this card where it needs to go. Okay, right, now we've started to make it go where it needs to go, but now I'm just going to snip at the edges of where the corner actually starts, and I'm going to take off a little bit of that card. Oh, this keeps sticking. This wide tape is so sticky. I've cut that a bit too thin. Never mind. So I'm just going to cut that up to where that curve starts.
Which side is a 10-inch and which is a 12?
The 12 inch is the long way, so the book is 12 inches by 10 inches and the spine is 10 inches. Okay, so the 12 inch is the length of the book and the 10 inches is the height. Okay, so now my paper knows where it wants to go, so I'm just going to once again keep training it round. Okay, a bit weird, but this does work. Right, keep training it round. Okay, oh, and I've ripped it. Don't do what I just did and ripped it. Okay, so because I've got the double-sided tape on here already, I'm going to fold that round and stick it down. Okay, make sure that I've got a good sharp crease there. Okay, this is ripped here, yours shouldn't, so don't do what I did. I was a bit heavy-handed. So round here now, once again, I'm just making sure that my rounded bit is straight, and I'm now going to fold this over. So you know the way that I like to do it, I'm going to put some double-sided tape on just to hold it in place while it dries, but I'm actually going to use wet glue just to make sure that it stays in place. Okay, at this point we're not folding the corner, we're only folding the length of the paper. Okay, so this is still learning where it wants to go, and I'm going to do the same over this side.
Anne's just ended.
Evening, Anne. You've just missed me tearing mine.
Doggone it.
So yours won't look like that bit, but I'm not too worried because I can hide that. Okay. So those edges are in. I'm still trying to train this round where it's going to go. But if I look at this side, which I've totally wrecked, you can see that is starting to really take shape. But my bone folder is what's going to make it smooth. So I want to keep going round that until I get it really, really, really smooth. But this is starting to fold over with its own accord now, okay? And that's good, because I'm not going to cut any bits off. I've seen it done, and I tried this and it didn't work. You can cut little sort of like grooves into this. It made it incredibly lumpy. So I'm not going to go down that road. I'm going to leave it all in one piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep with my bone folder, just making it as smooth as possible. And then I'm going to very carefully fold over and just do it bit by bit, and make sure that I use my bone folder to keep it as flat as possible. Okay, it's not going to be 100% flat, but it is not going to be far off. Okay, so I'm going to use my bone folder to push that down as much as possible. Okay, once we cover it with our pattern papers, you are not going to see it. So it's going to be a little bit lumpy, but it is going to stick. And I'm just going to use my bone folder just to make that as flat as possible. Okay, so hopefully when I turn it over, it's not 100% smooth yet, but that's what my bone folder is for. That is going to help me get a really, really smooth corner. So keep being a bit rough and just get it to go round. But this is the bit that takes the time. That kind of burnishing it into the place where you want it to go, that is what is going to take its time. But just keep going over the back as well, just to make it as flat as you can. Okay, so over to this side now, which, as I said, I ripped, but I'm not too worried about that. And now I'm just going to fold those bits in, get it as round as possible with my bone folder, and then really press those down as much as I can. Okay.
Haven't we got any big banners in the shop yet?
No, August. The only way that I've got them is in a big pack, a big toolkit. I think there's a couple, there might be one or two have left in the big kit that's got a rotary cutter and various other bits. But no, the supply's not getting them in until August, unfortunately. I thought it was going to be this month, but they've put it back a bit.
Or blame COVID.
Yeah, well, yeah, something like that. Okay, so that's how I got my rounded corner. So that's not too far off. I don't know why this is so mucky. Might have to go over that with a bit of Sharpie. But now you've just got to keep pushing it into shape. So be prepared to be a bit harsh with it, but you get the idea. Okay, so that's actually come out quite better than I thought it would. But just keep going back and shaping it. Okay, and that's a great use for your bone folder, I reckon. So that's one of them. I'm going to do it again so you can see how I've done it again. But like I said, you just got to keep going back and forwards with it. You've just got to keep putting it to one side and then going back and just making sure that you get your round corners, and make sure that you flatten it on this side. It's not going to be perfectly flat, but once we've covered it in pattern paper, you won't see it. Okay, right, so let's do that again. This is my 12 by 12 paper, my card that I'm using to cover it. So I'm just going to pop that bit of double-sided tape on there, okay? And just make sure that that's stuck down. Here's my other cover. And what I'm going to do now, it doesn't matter which way around it is, I'm just going to put some double-sided tape all the way along like we would on any sort of normal cover.
All that extra line.
Oh yeah, ignore the extra line Mark says. I had him, bless him. Mark's been on holiday this week. And
yeah, that's worked out great.
Yeah, that's worked out really well because I've had him doing jobs like cutting out bits of chipboard. Yeah, packing parcels. Poor lad. It's not fair, is it? Okay. Am I going to get 1 or 2 in there? Let's go for 2. Be a bit tight, but I'll do it. There we go. Okay. Right, so let me take these off. The secret is just to train your paper with your finger and with your bone folder, and just keep rubbing it up and down, love. It does the trick. I don't know why I'm winking. I'm just winking at the screen. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh dear. Hey Terry, did you hear my story last night about this baby magpie? Did I tell, were you, yeah, you were in class last night. You heard about it, didn't you? He's still here. I've assumed it's a he, and I've christened him Anthony. Long story, but he's still here. He's just moved bushes.
He's in the holly bush.
He's in the holly bush now, which I'm glad about because it's a bit higher up. Okay, so here's my 12 by 12 paper. I've taken off that big strip of double-sided tape, and like I said, you can absolutely do it with the thinner strips. Just make sure they're really close together because it doesn't half help when you come to put the book together. Sticky bit down. Oh, very sticky bit. And I'm just going to pop that on there, roughly up to where the actual curve starts. Okay? Right. So I'm just going to curve these corners to start. Oh, did that badly. And now I'm going to start training my paper where I want it to go. So train it round there and train it round that rounded corner, up round there, rounded corner again. Watch me rip it just because, you know, that's the way I roll, and round. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to make sure that that corner is well. Oh, do you know what I've forgotten to do? I've forgotten to do it with my finger.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. It's filthy. Doesn't matter. It's working without. See, I thought that might have ripped, but it didn't. Never mind.
Good cardstock.
It is good cardstock. Right. So let's get that going round again. This is filthy, this desk.
That's probably what it was down.
Yeah. Probably. Well, no, that's exactly why, isn't it? Because it was the wrong side round. Right. Okay. Okay, now I've got that vaguely where I want it to go. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more. So I'm going to cut up to where the corner starts. And I'm just going to cut round there like that. Okay, so you can see the shape that it's making. Oh, so sticky. Let's try again. Oh. Cut that round there. There we go. Oh. So back to training the card. Let's fold that over. burnish it. Okay, let's have a look how it's doing. Well, apart from the muck on it, all right, that's okay. Oh, there's Anthony. Right, okay, so double-sided tape, which I've lost. That isn't him, is it? That's a sparrow. I don't know. I feel ever so responsible for him. I really do. Hi, Charmaine. Thanks for popping in, though.
Iron by. He's preening himself.
Well, I hope he's going to preen himself and get his feathers right and fly away. I don't know why I'm so... I don't even like magpies. I'm not superstitious unless it's magpies. I don't like them, but I feel like this one's taken over my life. I'm so worried about him. It's ridiculous. Okay, so that's that one down. Just train that round again while I'm here. Let's go around to this side. Right, glue that down. Try not to rip it like I did. Okay, now let's go back. I know this is tedious to watch, but it is really important, because the more you kind of rub it, the better edge you're gonna get. So let's start folding that over. See, if I've trained it properly, it will kind of do it itself for you, if that makes sense. The fold over will be really easy, because the paper's trained to know where it wants to go. So let's try this side. Well, it looks like I've got a bit of a bulge on it I don't want. Let's see. I know the feeling. Right. Okay, that's not far off. Nearly there. There's a bulge there I don't like, so I'm just going to rub that out. If only it was that easy in real life. And that one. Okay. So, that is how I've done my rounded corners. I've done it a bit quick, so I might want to keep just going back and rubbing it into place. But you get the idea. So we have now got a totally flat rounded corner. A couple of little lumpy bumpy bits on the back. That's going to happen absolutely. Well, Mel, don't stop trying not to comment, because I can just imagine. Just go for it, because I really want to know now.
This has.
You don't have magpies in America?
I'm eating a pie.
Only in the pie.
420 of them.
Oh, no, you see, in over here, we have this saying with regard to superstition, that magpies, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, and 7 for a story never to be told. So it depends on how many magpies you see. So my big worry. Bye, Joan. Catch you again soon, I hope. Hi, Michelle. If you see just one lone magpie, it's unlucky. So you have to look around to see if his mate's about, because if you see 2, it's good. So if you see a lone magpie, you say, hello, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife and family? And that stops it being unlucky. I know, the most useless rubbish. I really do. And like I said, I'm not superstitious apart from magpies.
Oh, no.
I know. So we've got 3 at the moment because we've had Anthony and his parents. So that's 3 for a girl. Oh, maybe he should be Antonia. Oh, I don't know.
He might be.
He might be, yeah. Right, okay, so that'll do for me corners for now. Now I've explained a little bit about English superstition to you. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put my book together. Mucky that it is. So, here's my spine. 1 inch by 10 inches. Here is some Tyvek, which I am just going to cut, I don't know, about 3 inches by 10 inches, something like that. It doesn't need to be really big. Let's go for 3 inches.
7 a secret never to be told.
Oh, a secret never to be told. Oh, I've never seen that many, to be honest. Right, okay, so there's my Tyvek. Here is my spine. Same as always. I'm going to put some wet glue on my spine.
Terriers, alligators, flamingos, bald eagles, bobcats and Florida panthers living behind her house.
Oh, that sounds good.
She lives in a zoo.
Yeah. We've got magpies.
And deer.
And oh, deer, yes, but they don't come in the garden.
No, they can't climb the 6-foot wall.
No, but we have got lots of deer around here. Okay, so now I've put my spine onto my little bit of Tyvek. Now, I'm sure I've mentioned Tyvek before, but if I haven't, I'll tell you why I use Tyvek. Tyvek is this stuff, and it looks like paper, sounds like paper, feels like paper, doesn't taste like paper, doesn't tear like paper. This piece does. Oh my God. In 20 years, I have never torn a piece of Tyvek.
Oh dear.
Anyway, it doesn't ignore that bit. I don't believe this. It doesn't tear like Tyvek. Like, oh, for goodness sake, I'm going to bed. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Flipping heck. I'm never going to live this down now. I built my whole life around that. So Tyvek is great because it doesn't usually tear. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't believe this. If you can see me now, I think I've gone bright red.
It has gone warm in here.
It's very warm in here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because we got one magpie in the garden.
It's the magpie's fault. It's definitely the magpie's fault. Anyway, Tyvek. I put my spine onto the Tyvek. I'm not telling you any more about the bloody stuff. And I'm just going to put some... Stop it!
So effortless.
Stop it. Oh, I can never say that again now. Ever. I'm just going to put some glue onto this piece of paper, which obviously is paper and not Tyvek at all. And I'm going to lay down my cover on top, and I'm going to line it up, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap, probably of about 1/8 of an inch or so that I can fold my book. Now, I find quite a nice way to line this up is to use my ruler. God's sake. Just to make sure that it all lines up nicely. Okay. So as you can see, I've got a bit of a gap. I'm going to put some glue on the other side of this paper that I'm using in lieu of Tyvek. Stupid thing. And
we'll edit that.
well, yeah, we'll have to edit that out for YouTube. And I'm going to just pop this bit on the other side so that it all... Oh, hang on. My bone folder's in the way. So that it all lines up. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a gap there. But that all lines up now. Right. Now, I need to cover my spine. Let's just see if a piece of A4 is going to be long enough. Yes, it is. So I need a piece to cover my spine that's going to be at least 4 inches, but on the safe side, I'm going to make it 5 inches. So I'm going to cut it piece of A4, which is what, 11 3/4 inches, also by 5 inches. And I'm going to pop some double-sided tape onto that there. And I'll come back to that in a minute and explain to you why I've put that like that. And I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape on here as well. Now, I find it's best not to put the double-sided tape over where that gap is between the spine and the actual covers. Because if you do that, sometimes it makes the paper just pull a little bit too much and it tears. So if you're trying to not have it tear, that would be the answer. So I'm just going to put one piece right down the middle of the spine, and then I'm going to put just a couple on either side. Stop laughing at me.
I'm stopping.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I'm like this. Oh.
There was a bound in that breath.
Yeah. Like that. Okay. Right. So take that tape off. Will you stop it? I can hear you laughing. I can hear you. Mel, not helping. Just don't know my own strength.
I shouldn't have fed you before.
No, I had a chocolate hobnob. That's what it was. It's all that energy. Oh my God. I can't believe that's happened. Right. So this bit. Take that tape off there, and we want to make sure that we get a really, really, really good adhesion down these bits. So what I'm going to do, actually what I'm going to do first of all is just get my cutting mat out, because I've got one now. Because I find when I'm it's not very flat, but I find it helps to get it straight when I'm putting my book together. So, oh, for goodness sake. Right, it's going to be one of those days. I'm just going to put some glue between the edge of my card and where I've put that double-sided tape. This will all become clear. Right, now I'm going to use my mat, which isn't flat, and I'm just going to line that up so that I can see that that is straight. So I've lined it up along that line there. Okay, so I know now that is straight. So if I get my book and pop it in the middle here and line the book up, that is now going to be straight. Oh no, look what I've done here. Oh well, never mind, it's near enough. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that now I can just fold those out. It's gonna, I just give up. Anyway, it's straight. It doesn't matter. Okay. Try to centre it top to bottom. You'll find it a lot easier. I just want you all to know that despite popular opinion, I am completely human. And do mess up on a regular basis. Okay, right, so I want that to fold over there and stick, so I'm just going to find my double-sided tape that I've already lost. Pop some on there. Bit of glue.
Sticky stuff.
Fold that over. And burnish that well. Now I'm going to have a bit more of a difficult job on this side because it's a bit short, but it will work. So let's just train it where I want it to go. Put a little bit of tape. I'm going to put the tape on there because it's going to be easier to fold it over. Luckily, the spine is totally the width of the book, so it's not going to matter because it's all going to be enclosed. So that's going to work.
For the spine and the Tyvek.
The spine is 1 inch by 10 inches, and the Tyvek I cut at 10 inches by 3 inches.
And the card that you put over the top.
And the card that I put over the top was 11 3/4 by 5 inches. So let's just fold that over. And let's hope for the best. Okay. It'll be fine. Okay, so if I turn that over now, this is where my spine is, where I've put the bit over the top, but I want to make sure that these bits here at the edges are stuck down really well. So I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure that's stuck down. And I'll just make sure that's flat, which miraculously it is. And that's my cover done. So I am going to leave that now to dry. And I think really, as far as we're concerned, tonight, that's all we're going to get done. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to make the hinge of all, and we're going to make probably page 1 as well. So that's it from me. I'm going to go and hide in a corner now. Telephone directions. I'm going to go and get some more Tyvek and see if I can rip that. Anyway, moving on.
Never happened.
Never happened. I'm not going to say any more about it.
Not if it's on video.
Yeah, so I will see you guys next Thursday at 7 o'clock. And we will do the next bit. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll keep you posted on Anthony, and I'll see you next week. Thanks a lot for having me. Bye.